Welcome everybody, this is our 100th video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I wanted to thank Hashem for giving me the honor and privilege and zechut to be able to spread His Torah in this 100th video. This week's Parasha is Parashat Bo. It's the Parasha that the nation of Israel that has its exodus. It leaves Egypt and achieves freedom. And at the end of the Parasha we have two of the most important portions of the Torah, Kadesh Li, which, Tefillin has four, it's the mitzvah of Tefillin, and Tefillin has four different portions in it. Two of the portions are located in this week's Parsha. And the Ramban, Nachmanides, Rav Moshe ben Nachman, asks a very important question, and he says, we know countless amount of mitzvot have a direct correlation to the Exodus, to remember that we left Egypt. Why is it so important? For example, mezuzah, tefillin, Shabbat, the commandments that really are the symbol of who is a Jew. The holiday of Passover, Sukkot, Sisit, mezuzah, tefillin, Shabbat, all of these, God says the reason I gave you this commandment is that you should remember that you left Egypt. Why? Why is this Exodus so crucial, so fundamental? And probably one of the most important, if you ever want to read a Torah commentary, the two most important ones are Rashi and the Ramban. The Khatam Sofer says, learning Torah without the Nachmanides commentaries, like learning Gemara with Rashi without Tosfot. The Ramban brings one of his most classical and fundamental ideas of why the Exodus is so important. And he says, the Exodus is coming to teach us, first of all, that there's a God, and God is involved in this world. There is divine providence. There is no coincidence. There's no accidents. Anything and everything that happens in this world is because God wills it. And we have to thank Him for all the gifts. If we're wealthy, healthy, and strong, and wise, it's all coming from God, and we have to realize that. And the Ramban says such beautiful and classic commentary. He says, anytime you buy a mezuzah, you're agreeing with all your heart and being that what's written inside of the mezuzah, that there's a God, and He took us out of Egypt, and we have to love Him with all our heart. And the Ramban says that we have to realize one important thing. Our entire existence is a miracle. And that's what the Exodus teaches us. That blood, the entire Nile River could turn into blood, and all the 10 plagues that God passed over our house, all the Egyptian firstborn died, and the firstborn Jewish didn't die. That's a public miracle. But let's not forget about the private and personal miracles. And the Ramban says a very strong language. He says this is the fundamental idea of the entire Torah. Shehem Yesoda Torah Kula. This is what the whole book, the whole godly book of Torah is about. If you don't believe that our entire existence is divine providence and God is guiding us and God is involved in every aspect of our life, En lo chelek b'Torat Moshe, you're not a Jew, you have no place in this religion of Judaism. Until we believe that everything is miracles and there's no such thing as nature, whether personally, in our private lives, or publicly. And that's what we have to realize. We have to realize, why is the Exodus so important? Because it shows us that there becomes a time to pay the piper. If you act like ISIS and a terrorist and rape and cheat people like Paro was subjugating and torturing the Jews, there comes a day that you're going to have to get punished. That's what the Exodus teaches us. This world has a judge, yesh lo din v'dayan. There's somebody watching everything up there. And sooner or later it's going to come back to bite you. If you're good, like the Jews and like Moses, you're going to be blessed. But if you're evil like Paro, it's going to come back and destroy your life. And everything that happens in our life is no coincidence. Hakol begezerat elyon. And that's why the Ramban says we have to appreciate that everything that happens in our private lives is also by divine guidance and providence. So the Chazon Ish says a very important idea. He says it's very important that every Jew should have a personal notebook. Every day we should be looking for that small miracle that God is doing in our personal lives. If we open our eyes to it, we're going to see that who we married, the job we have, the circumstances we're in, the blessings we have, it's all because God is guiding us and leading us, and He has supervision over us. And we have to make a note every day of one account of how God made a special thing for us. I want to say a personal story. Et chata'ai ani maskir. Sometimes I'm in a rush in the mornings because this synagogue we pray around 6 a.m. And I forget to say every morning after Modeh Ani we have to thank God that we are able to see and walk and talk and have clothing. Those are the Birkot HaShachar. And I tell you a scary thing that's happened to me. I would have the audacity to say around 50 times. It just happened to me this week. Sometimes when I'm in a rush, I forget to say those blessings. And around 50 times this has happened to me. And it sends shivers down my body that I see a blind person. Now, with these canes. And I never see that. And I see that as a sign from God that, hey, David, you have forgotten to say, appreciate the gift of sight. You know, we could see hundreds of thousands of different colors of blue and orange. And so that's something in my personal life where every time I forget to thank God for the gift of sight, almost 4 dozen times it has happened to me, dozens upon dozens of times, that I see right in front of me, a blind person walks. And I remember that, hey, I have to thank God for this gift of sight. So therefore, our entire existence is miracles. Look for the miracles. Egypt, the exodus from Egypt was a public miracle, but we have to be cognizant that our entire existence is based on miracles. And if you're looking for a modern miracle, the existence of the state of Israel, which amongst 70 wolves, that little sheep Israel has existed, please don't forget to subscribe and a wonderful Shabbat.